Alright, so now let's talk about the supports. So, I think when it came to Ana, like, I tried to find, like, a decent build to play. Like, I found one that involved no scope needed, where the idea was that you would use unscoped shots to heal your teammates, because you would also stack attack speed, which allowed you to really put out a good amount of healing as well. There, of course, have also been some sleep dart builds that have emerged, because there's an item here called Tranquilizer, which massively buffs sleep dart, collision size, projectile speed, and the sleep duration. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh, it is... Some of these sleep dart builds, especially like when it comes to being a tank, can be very frustrating to play against. The real fun stuff, if you're trying to play Ana, can be a not just necessarily a grenade, but also a nano boost build, such as one that also buffs your allies in your line of sight, but it does have a reduced duration on them. Plus, if you also do this on an ally, they would get more ultimate charge, and they would get some overhealth. So you put this on a Reinhardt, building his ult while he's engaged in a fight. You give him some health, plus you also give him a chance to get his hammer down a little faster. Plus, of course, the perk where you give it to yourself as well. So, like, theoretically, this is the kind of build that you could go with here if you were doing that. There's some other stuff as well that you can grab to really also buff it up, such as this right here. Your unscoped projectiles are 100% larger. So then you're able to basically just spam your unscoped shots. To really stack up your attack speed as well as your healing. At least that's the idea. So you're less likely to miss your targets, not to mention you're also able to attack faster. You can also be able to buff up the ammo as well, where you can grab this to have it where you have more ammo, and it has a chance to not even consume ammo as well. If you're going for a sleep dart or grenade build, ability power can usually help out with that as well. Increasing the radius of your biotic grenades should just make them much bigger in terms of how they, how much they affect. I'm sure you are also curious about the Tranquilizer as well. So, of course, because it's a tank there, it's going to sleep less. So let's see what happens if I was to say, sleep at Mercy. She was asleep for quite a bit, wasn't she? And that's even without some of the other stuff that can actually buff it up as well. You can actually make it where, like, they'll take more bonus damage if they get hit by it. 50% ability lifesteal for Ana just right off the bat with this. Yeah. That can also be pretty nasty. This is one of my favorites if you're going with a nano boost build, where you can target allies through walls, and its range is increased to 60 meters. Oh, and you can also buff its duration. So you can grab these, and then you can be able to nano when you bam, right there. It's also affecting the allies that were out of the line of sight as well. In fact, let me see how this works when I change up the bots over here to allies. There we go. Because 60 meters sounds like it's quite a long ways away. Yep. Look at this. From all the way over here. And that affected all of them. You saw that? So, yeah. In certain situations, if let's say you're running back from a fight and you can see that they are in the middle of a fight, but you need to give them that edge, especially if you're in a coordinated team with comms, that could be a great way to, like, from a faraway distance, all of a sudden just nail them out of nowhere. So that can be, like, some of the possible fun builds with Ana there. Juno, oh man, Juno has been nerfed so hard. Oh my goodness. Juno's most popular build by far involved the pulsar torpedoes, and they have just nerfed it into the ground. They have nerfed it over and over. They have just been trying so hard to discourage people from doing the torpedo build because they are trying to promote build variety, right? We want you to do other things, do other builds, by nerfing everything that's good and not buffing anything else. This is what I was talking about. She's the character I was referring to. Like, some of these things just used to do more, they were stronger, and they just kept nerfing them. Like, it used to be you would grab things such as the Pulsar Plus to get the additional charge, the cooldown reduction. Medicinal Missiles was also good if you wanted to get some more healing output, and then also Torpedo Glide, so that way you could be able to have it also continue to reduce the cooldown of the Pulsar Torpedoes. And then you would also try and buff up your ability power to do more. You didn't have to necessarily get these, since, like, even though the projectile speed was nice, you're not really upping the ability power. And I think some of these actually used to give ability power, but they don't anymore. So you basically would have to then resort to other abilities here, other items that actually do give you ability power. Because otherwise they're just not going to do nearly as much as they could. Because it used to be, like, and I'm telling you guys, the Pulsar Torpedoes here, especially if you had it where it could hit multiple enemies. I mean, it's probably still decent, but nowhere near as strong as it was, like, for a while. For a while, Juno was probably the best support in Stadium. And that's probably one of the reasons why they also decided to go ahead and target her when it came to nerfs. But you can see why the torpedo build would have been absolutely the best one and to take, and by far everyone's favorite to pick. But of course, build variety is what it's all about, right? Not what's good. Kiriko is, well, it's going to, of course, depend on what style of play you actually like to do when it comes to Kiriko. Because, of course, there are DPS Kirikos out there, which tilt me to no end, you know. Because they will do the thing where they, of course, are over here, you know, trying to DPS you, not healing their team, and then they'll just teleport back to their team to safety, and then come back and do the same thing without actually bothering to heal their team. It gets so infuriating when you're dealing with characters like that. I've also noticed this is something that they're doing here with the practice range. They're actually making all the bots low health, so that when you're practicing the healer, you can actually, like, see how much you're actually healing, as opposed to if they are full health, right? One of the funny things is that clone conjuration. This has been a very interesting one here, because you do this, you make a clone, and then the clone will actually try to do some healing and some damage. Now, I think I heard that they actually may have nerfed this, or people were saying that it needed to be nerfed because it was apparently doing too much.
I've got you.
I'm not, like, you can see the clone is actually doing some damage to the bot there, right? Like, it'll do some healing, but then it'll also turn to the enemy and actually try to do some damage. And apparently it was doing too much, and I think they may have nerfed it some. They have also tried to buff some stuff here with Kiriko as well. So, like, what I've been doing, because sometimes you'll, of course, encounter an Ana or a Ashe, some enemy that needs to have stuff cleansed, right? So I usually have always gone with the Tuzu power to give yourself the additional charge of the Suzu, because, yeah. Going with a Kitsune Rush build, though, I mean, obviously you have to try and work your way to actually get them in the game, but if you can be able to pull it off, it can actually be pretty nice. Self-care is another one that's, like, if you feel like you're getting focused too much or a little too squishy, just ways to heal yourself. Healing your allies gives them attack speed. There's also some other stuff here that can buff that up as well. Projectile speed gets increased. When you heal an ally, you give them movement speed. It can bounce off the surface one time, the kunai I mean. The projectile speed for the healing Ofudas. Here's some other stuff that can really buff up your like your Suzus and your Kitsunes. Being able to buff the duration of your Kitsune Rush. When you use the ability, gain attack speed. Allies affected are healed every second. Suzu grants them both attack speed and movement speed. Using Swift Step will heal nearby allies over a couple seconds. So there's some really good stuff here that you can do. The Suzu also gives them over health. So if you want to go with a Suzu build, or a Swift Step build, or a Healing Ofuda build for healing, you can absolutely go ahead and do that. And I find it to be pretty decent and viable. Now, if you're curious, because this also reduces enemies' movement speed, and it also cleanses Kiriko and makes her invulnerable for 4 seconds. So let's say you grab some of these other things to really buff up Kitsune Rush, right? And as you can see, the Kitsune Rush is actually healing them, because they are considered in range of it.
You take a lot of damage, huh? The battle ignites me.
So yeah, Kiriko is still a decent choice. And I think that may have been like the Ofuda and Suzu's may have been the way I went when I got my win with her. Lucio! Oh, this one's fun. This one is funny. So I basically went with an ability power amp it up barrier build. So the build I recall going with was Megaphone, Radio Edit, Mixtape, and Beat Drop. And this one's funny. Landing on an enemy with your sound barrier deals 200 damage. And I've seen some people like Frogger and such try to make sure that when they ult that they are landing on enemies so they could try and get a kill with it. It's actually really funny. But, you know, you're able to like grab things that increase the duration of Amp It Up. The sound barrier's effectiveness is increased for every second that it's channeled up to 50%. When they leave the crossfade, the effect lingers. And the more ability power you have, the stronger your barrier is going to be. So at 115% ability power, amp it up, mini barrier, and look at the size of the radius of your amp it up. Game lasted too long shutting down. Seriously? I'm in the practice range. What are you talking about, game? But you can see the radius when you amp it up, how long it goes. But then look at my ult's barrier. That's over 2,000 health. Oh. The server is closing. I'll be right back.
Voice chat may be recorded to investigate and verify reports of disruptive behavior.
Okay, so we're back in the practice range. I don't know. But let's see if I can actually show you the damage that happens when you ult on top of an enemy's head. Just gotta make sure I get this right.
Oh, let's break it.
Ah! I missed him. Of course I did. Also, there's apparently a wall ride build. I'm probably never going to do that because, as you can see, I'm not good at that. Alright, let's see. Let's try on this guy.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
There it is! So yeah, some people have pulled that off to make a clip, get a laugh. Mercy. So, I don't know what the entire build that a couple of my friends who are Mercy mains run. I know that one of the things that she runs is Threads of Fate. The build that I've kind of gravitated towards focuses on this along with this because when you get Valkyrie to pop, as you can see, that what this does is that the healing and damage boosts of your staff are automatically applied to your nearby allies. Which is just, like, amazing to me. And then when you res, also looks like they nerfed this. It used to be 6 seconds, now it's just 5 seconds. So they're trying to reel her in. Now, this is another one I like here. There's some other really good ones here for your staff. Giving them life, or damage reduction, giving them life steal. And then there's Battle Medic, which can get really fun if you decide to really wait until you pop Valkyrie and then just go off with things like Celestial Clip. I don't know how many Mercies actually run this. I know that there are some that have tried, myself included, just because the idea of this is just kind of amazing. The resurrection range here, 75%. Res from really far. Guardian Angel range, 33%. And then, of course, some other stuff to make Mercy much more survivable because, of course, everyone's going to be trying to focus and kill Mercy. And then Commander's Clip, just for funsies, because then, of course, the idea here, and I'll try to build up the stack so I can try to show this off. Like, the potential of the Battle Mercy like moment here in this mode is amazing. Like you'll see down there on the bottom right, the stacks next to the Guardian Angel right there.
Feel stronger? Now who's taking target practice?
And so then you pop it.
Heroes never die. Valkyrie justice. I'm on fire. Double.
So as you can see, you're automatically applying that to your allies, which can just allow you to just go ham as a Mercy. A Battle Mercy, because look at how fast she is firing. Oh, I've wanted to be able to pull that off and have that glorious moment, but just haven't been able to pull it off yet. It would be amazing, though. But yeah, that's kind of like the build I like to try and see if I can run and pull off. Whereas I think some other more viable builds are going to be involve you buffing your Caduceus staff. More weapon power buffs the amount of healing it does, and also attack speed buffs how fast your healing gets out as well. So that's usually, I think, the more common way. I don't consider myself a Mercy main unlike other people and some of my other friends, so I can't really speak to that like they would. Now, Moira, on the other hand, I am a Moira main, and unfortunately her mythic skin is bugged, so it's actually not available at the moment, which actually irritates me right now. But the build that I have been running to get to Pro in Stadium has involved her orbs. Lots and lots of orbs. I've had some fun with this one right here as well. And then, of course, Cyber Venom, because being able to have your orbs apply the healing reduction is kind of amazing. As well as Liquid Nitrogen to have them be slower. It's not as much ability power as, as it probably could or should. So, I think they've also changed how the orbs look, because they used to look a little different with the item that makes them move slower when they are either dealing damage or healing. And it looks like they've actually changed how the orbs look. I think they've nerfed the orbs because it looks like they are going away faster. And they're just like not as big as they used to be. Like those orbs are going away much faster than I recall them being, just the other night. And then, of course, if you fire off 3 damage orbs, you're getting all that healing reduction and slows, and yeah. So then you have Flying Moira.
Double kill. I offer something more. Repairing cellular makeup.
So yeah, I think they've nerfed the orb build. Because it just looks and feels weaker compared to just like last night when I was, or even the night before when I was trying to get pro and support. But that's basically the build I was running. But I have a feeling I may have to run something different, which makes me sad. Because this was fun just having all these orbs just all over the place. You fade, you leave an orb there, you shoot out your hand healing, and then it shoots out another orb. Yeah.
Taste of poison. Surrender to my will.
And then, of course, when you ult, you're able to then apply the healing reduction because you're doing ability power damage.
Triple kill. All your might will
I really liked it. And unfortunately, it looks like they have nerfed it. I'll have to test an actual game, but that's how it seems to me anyway. And then last but not least, the newest support added, Zenyatta. So, first of all, let me say this. Do not be one of those Zenyatas that doesn't heal your team and just wants the DPS. I know it's tempting because of how Discord is and the charge shot, but you are trolling your team if you're going to just be a DPS and not heal your team. Because then you're forcing your other support player to solo heal, and nobody wants to solo support in this game. Nobody wants to do that. So don't do that to your other support teammate. I know it's very tempting, but do not do that. And for goodness sakes, do not use your Transcendence just for yourself. Your Transcendence is meant to help your team, not to save yourself when you get beaten in a one-on-one and you have to run away like a little coward. I'm saying this as someone who has over 100 hours on Zenyatta, and it irritates me when I see other Zenyatta players doing that. And I'm just like, that is not how you are supposed to play Zenyatta. You are supposed to do both. Heal and damage, not just damage. You are trolling your team if you are choosing not to heal them and just be a DPS. Otherwise, go just queue as a DPS. They have shorter queues in Stadium anyway. Why are you waiting 5 or 6 minutes or even 10 minutes in a queue to DPS as Zenyatta when you could wait less than a minute, like a few seconds, to get into a game as a DPS? There is no reason for you to just DPS only as a Zenyatta in Stadium, unless you are trying to troll your team. So I've played one game so far as Zenyatta, and I can see the potential for being able to not only do a good amount of healing with your Harmony Orbs, but also be able to do a good amount of extra damage with your Discord Orbs, as well as being able to say, apply a Discord Orb to any enemies within range of your Transcendence, and the longer you channel it, the bigger the range of your Transcendence gets. So let me kind of show you what I've been kind of drifting towards as a build. Circle of Strife, Discord Fever, where it then does damage when you apply it to them. Inner Peace is an interesting one because you always have a Harmony Orb on yourself. So you always have some healing. Now, it's healing very, very minimal, but still. Now, this one is also pretty good. Being able to keep your Harmony Orb on someone that's been out of your line of sight for another 5 seconds longer is really nice, because that has been a major nerf to Zenyatta ever since it happened years ago. Now, if you are wanting to do damage, grab this. Allies affected by your Harmony Orb are healed for more based on the damage you deal. So put your Harmony Orb on them and then deal damage, so then you can heal for them more. It's not that hard. It's Orbin time. They just had to call it that. It's Orbin time. They could not resist. The meme was too strong. They had to go for the meme. 3 additional orbs for your secondary fire charge. Now this one seems crazy. The secondary fire projectiles home in on an enemy when aimed at a target that is below 35% life. All of a sudden your orbs are just homing in on your targets. That sounds insane. This is also a pretty good one. Gain a second Harmony Orb, but it does heal for 45% less. But that does mean you can heal 2 targets at the same time, which definitely sounds very appealing, I'm not gonna lie. So I would say, if you're wanting to, and I'll show you why you should probably go ahead and grab these as well in just a moment. But if you feel like you need some more healing, I would say you could go ahead and grab Inner Peace. If you're wanting to do some healing through the damage you deal, grab Enlightenment. If you want to be able to make sure you heal a second priority target, go ahead and grab Dual Harmony. So then we have to go to the items. If you're wanting, so an ability, this is where some of the fun stuff for Transcendence can happen, as well as your orbs. Harmony Orb heals airborne allies for more. Now, that may not apply now, but keep in mind, Pharah is going to get added to this mode next season. So that could be a really important item to grab if you have a Pharah teammate. Increase your healing by up to 20% based on how close you are to your target. So if you're really close to your target, you're going to be doing even more healing to them. While Transcendence is active, its radius is increased by 1 meter every second. Allies affected by Transcendence have their cooldowns refresh 15% faster. And then here it is. 30% Transcendence duration. After Transcendence ends, gain overhealth equal to 100% of the healing that it did. But now, think about this. It now lasts longer, and the radius grows every second it's going. You see what I'm getting at here? So then let's say... Now let's look at some of the other more unique ones. While he's airborne, hold jump to hover for a few seconds. When you charge your Orb of Destruction secondary fire, restore for 3% of your life. Eliminating enemy will affect your Discord Orb, granting 5 armor for the rest of the round, up to 50 armor. For every 50 armor that you have, you gain more quick melee damage. When your shields are depleted, knock back enemies dealing damage. It can only trigger every 6 seconds after the shields are fully restored. That can be pretty good, actually, if you have, say, a Genji diving on you all the time. That could actually be really, really good. Allies affected by your Harmony Orb take less ability damage. That can also be really good. After using Harmony Orb or Discord Orb, you gain projectile speed for 3 seconds. The secondary fire charges faster, and targets affected by your Discord are revealed. So, like, let's say you put it here on your tank here, and he's getting healed. Now watch this.
Experience prosperity.
Look at Zen's health. Look at that. Now keep in mind that I was standing away from that guy. Let's see what happens when I stand next to him. Because remember, it's healing more if I'm closer to him.
Experience prosperity.
And because it's growing, it's going to affect them over there with the Discord Orb, which does damage to them. So yeah, I think this could be a very strong build if you're able to make sure that your Transcendence can work out well. Because you put Discord Orb on them, they take some damage. Every time you apply it, they take some damage. Not to mention the extra damage they're taking.
Assistance would be appreciated.
The secondary Harmony Orb could be good if you have, like I said, 2 allies here that you want to put the orbs on.
Scarcity consumes me. My spirit burns. Experience prosperity.
Look at that. Over 2,000 health for a moment there. So yeah, I think I may end up liking Zenyatta quite a bit. Obviously, doing the charge and the shooting in third person is going to be a little awkward for some people. But it's honestly not really that bothersome to me like it is for other people. So yeah, that's basically everyone on the roster at the moment when it comes to Stadium. We do know that there are some more that are going to be added later on. They've reset the rank, so I'm going to have to go back to grinding it again. I hope Ryan is decent to play. But Sigma is also pretty decent to play as well. I don't know how Moira has been affected when it comes to her orb build, but we do have Zenyatta now. And I also, like, Moira and Zen are my 2 most played supports. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll have to see how they compare. If I may end up playing more Zenyatta than Moira, we'll have to see. I'm sure there are some players that are dreading having to play Zenyatta in Stadium because, well, yeah, I think he can be able to have the potential to pull off lots of healing, but also lots of damage because of the way his Discord Orb can work. And of course, if you have a Zen that's really good at his charged shots, well, yeah, you may end up getting deleted pretty often. So, I would say if you guys maybe gave Stadium one chance and gave up on it, give it another shot. Just take time to really learn some of these things, how this works, and you may end up enjoying it. It's a nice change of pace from the usual normal base game. There are times I just get tired of the base game, and I get tired of people telling me, don't play that character, swap to somebody else. I like that there is no swapping in Stadium. It allows us to play the characters we enjoy playing, and just trying to build them and make them better and find ways to make it work. I enjoy that. I get tired of the people that just shout at you and get all mad at you because how dare you play that character that I don't consider good and you're not playing the other character and why aren't you swapping to them? And yeah, I just get so sick of it. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. I'm off to go play some more Stadium. I'll see you then.